Hello everybody and welcome to my webinar. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I'm still on the learning curve for making this wonderful technology work that brings us all together. I'd love to start by finding out who's here and saying hello and asking for your wish for your bathroom that we will try to make real over the next hour together. Bathrooms can set the tone of our house. They happen to be, once you get in a role, the easiest of the rooms to declutter because they have not too many of those sentimental objects, and the purpose is clear: keep you clean and lovely. So they're often rooms that my students get to declutter by themselves once they've got in the routine, once they've had success with the kitchen sink and the garage. And here is a before and after that my clients did by themselves using all the principles I taught. So I'm very proud of this picture and I'm hoping that there will be some like this for you. It is a funny after with a bunny cage in it, but her housemates are very grateful that the bunny cage is in her bathroom and not in their dining room anymore. So they're the kind of things I'm hoping for you. And we're going to start with your wishes for your bathroom. And Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Are you there?
Yes.
Wendy. Hello.
Oh my
welcome.
goodness. Hello.
Well, first, welcome. And what's your wish for your bathroom?
To make it a more welcoming space.
Yeah, and now what does welcoming mean? Just for you or your whole family?
Well, it's just me. So
yeah, and what are the frustrations with it right now? Just it doesn't feel
look,
like
it's clean and tidy and reasonably organized, but it's not necessarily somewhere where I want to spend that much time.
Yeah, and that can change. Right, that's a lovely wish. Thank you, Wendy. And Deborah, can you hear us, Deborah?
I can. I'm surprised I can work with technology.
Yeah, oh, great. It's not that easy, so it's a little bit scary, but we'll get better and better, and it means we can connect and do things we didn't think we could do, like transform our home and world and be together on a Sunday afternoon. So I'd love to hear your wishes for your bathroom.
My bathroom's become a drop-all zone because I travel through there on my way to my bedroom. So I tend to drop a lot of things, and I also dry a lot of clothes in there because it's west facing and gets extremely hot, but then they're not fading through summer. So it's too small for all of those things to happen, and I would just like it cleared up a little and more useful.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to delegate functions we have in a bathroom to other areas, possibly, but some things just happen to be, unfortunately, best in the bathroom. Did you see the bunny cage bathroom?
I did.
Yeah.
I liked that. That gave me a giggle.
Who'd have thought? Well, it's good to have you here. And Rosemary, what are your wishes for your bathroom?
To make it usable.
Whoa! Yeah, so what is the current frustration? Too much stuff or not inviting?
I suppose it's not inviting.
Yeah. All right. So to make it an attractive place is a big theme for us today. So let's go to it. So just going to pop you on mute. So feel free anytime to write any questions, and I'm going to check them every now and again. Can you see a little place where you can send me a question?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I'll check them at the end of each section. So here's what we're going to be doing today. Let me check my time. Right, so here are my wishes for all of you. One is the bathroom's shareable, because I'm a career permaculture designer. One of my big life missions is to create a culture of sharing, and I've had share houses all my life. I didn't get married and have a family. Instead, I just thought up and how can life be ideal, like the best possible life on the fewest possible resources. And for me, that meant getting really a superhero of sharing. And the bathroom is always the bottleneck of a share house. And for me, the more people in the house, more cool and lovely people, the richer it is, if we can manage the bathroom. So I became a Jedi of lots of people, only one bathroom. A bathroom that makes you feel honoured. Often we feel poor. And we think spending or buying will get us richer, when often just really good design where everything feels is singing with harmony is enough to make you feel, yeah, I got choices and this is the life I choose. Place where you feel calm, where your fight and flight turns into rest and digest. Your adrenaline comes down and you feel, yes, this is a lovely way to spend the evening in my rubby-dub tub. And my wish is that your time in the bathroom is purifying you and your planet. So you're not poisoning yourself with chemicals or creatures, mold, which is a big problem in Australia, and you're not creating heaps of trash. So I'm going to start with a little story. It's a story of a bathroom I decluttered a long time ago, and the family and the mum who are in this story. And this is a 4-minute story. So I was traveling in Italy, woofing as I do, willing work on organic farms. So my joy and my hobby is doing volunteer work. And I've been doing this for 30 years. Go traveling, turn up at someone's house and say, hello, I'm Cecilia, I'm a designer and I'm going to make your life lovely if you like. And they feed me and love me, and it's good for everyone. So volunteer working. So this delicious, beautiful family took me in. And it was such a great mum and dad. I loved the conversation. I loved the food. The biggest problem was the children. I didn't love the children. There were 3 of them. And at meal times, I learnt to put them as far back in the garden as I could. They were always screaming and riding their bikes under my feet and coming right up to me and banging their drums. Look at this little girl. She's watering the non-existent garden right where we walk and make mud. My attitude was not good. And the mum was such a great lady. I loved her. The work helping her in her kitchen, it felt bleak. The kitchen wasn't lovely. She got me to wash the dishes by hand to save money on using the industrial dishwasher. I wanted to do more fun things. And she's a fun lady. Here we are celebrating her granny-in-law's birthday. There's her grandpa-in-law and her husband. The grandpa-in-law was also really enjoying life with his young wife and his granny. Now, the house was very, very messy. So there's 3 problems I had. It was very messy, and there actually wasn't a place to put anything. When all the folded washing came back, folded beautifully, I wanted to put it in the children's drawers, but there weren't any drawers. This was the children's room. Now, the mother, I knew, was a woman of great attention to detail for what she chose. Here's some snowflakes she chose to make. She is so capable of creating beauty, of putting in work. She's not interested in housework. This is the food she makes, so beautiful. And my answer to all my problems was with this little girl, hey, let's turn the bathroom into a shrine of beauty and love. So I've learned that if I'm not getting along with someone, create something together that you're both excited about. And as soon as this little girl and I had a project, we just loved each other. I taught her how to wipe. She'd never wiped before. She didn't know how to hold a cloth. The children weren't able to help their mum with cleaning because it just wasn't set up that way. It wasn't even set up for the mum to clean. I wanted to clean the floor and I asked, where's the dustpan and brush? Oh, we don't have one. So the little girl and I, we made the bathroom into the prettiest place we could. We made a colour theme. In this case, it was orange, yellow, green, and pink. And we arranged it so it was pretty. We went hunting in the garden for flowers. There weren't a lot, but we're going to change that. And the result was a very happy girl. We picked an orange cloth and I taught her about lining things up at right angles, which is something the Japanese taught me, which is a way to bring calm and order. And I knew the whole house was way too big, but this was one little sanctuary, the children's bathroom, that she might be able to keep playful and keep beautiful. So what I love about this story is that creating the bathroom design wasn't because the bathroom should be clean. It was because people should be connected and enjoy each other and enjoy their own powers. And our project together made that happen. Now we've made a wish for our bathroom. The next thing I do whenever I do a declutter process, whenever I go to anyone's house, first is make a wish for what you want to happen in the house, which could be more housemates or more serenity. And the next is get your camera and take usually 10 postcard pictures of things you find, combinations that are pre-existing, might be in your bathroom today or might not be in your bathroom. 5 things you find absolutely lovely. And I want you to grab your camera now, and you're not going to show anyone these photos. And I want you to make a close-up of just little combinations of objects that you think, that looks just lovely. Here's some postcards that I made at my Japanese friend's house the morning after I moved in. And this is what the room actually looked like that we decluttered in about 3 hours. And this is pre-existing loveliness in this not lovely looking room. And the reason I do this is because I'm a permaculture designer. I don't go in and tell people you should do this so it looks like Instagram. I find the pre-existing beauty and just expand on that. And we also find the pre-existing unloveliness. So after taking 5 close-up pictures of what you find beautiful about your bathroom, you can do that right now. I want you to then take your camera and 5 pictures of combinations you find unlovely. It might be a tangle of cords or some advertising beside some dead flowers or some disharmony. And in permaculture, observation solves most problems. And often we stop seeing things in our house that are unharmonious and we don't know how to fix because we don't know how to fix them. And it's a protective mechanism. And taking the photos helps you realize your strengths and things you want to have less of. So Remy could see from this collection of photos, oh yeah, I like natural, unvarnished wood and concrete. And on top of it, I love highly refined calligraphy and curlicues and undulating lines. So I'm nature plus highly refined. Yeah, I'm going to expand that. And she did throughout her whole house, which some of you saw in last month's webinar. So I'll give you another minute or two for that. And also, now's a great time to take just a simple before photo of your bathroom. And this is useful if you want to send it to me as a present for me when you do a before or after, or just to keep privately and compare. Taking the before photo, straight back to the wall, click, not tilted, not to one side, maybe is a great treasure, because you're never going to get that after again, and you'll be shocked when you look back, possibly. The next step that I do in any home declutter is create zones of usefulness. This is a permaculture idea that's very powerful. Often after my workshops, people will say, well, sometimes it's happened, I stayed up till 2 in the morning making zones. Finally, I knew where everything went and didn't go. Very powerful. So let me explain. So the idea of zones in a garden is oftenest nearest. Things you want to use or remember are nearer to where you spend time in your house. So zone 1, near the house, would be where you have your washing, you plant your strawberries or your coriander, things that are quickly going to ripen and then get eaten by the birds or disappear. Zone 2, you don't need to see all the time. You don't need to remember. The chickens will let you know, bark, 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 time to get my egg, and you'll wander out a little bit further and do what you need to do in zone 2. Zone 3, you go to even less often. It might be a veggie garden you go to once a week, things you don't need to be reminded of. Zone 4, edge of your property, it's where your chestnut trees and your shiitake mushrooms are ready to be harvested when they are, which could be once a year. Zone 5 is nature unspoilt. It's where you don't go because you're letting nature evolve and develop and have its own life. How do these zones exist in your house, in your bathroom? Well, zone 1 is your current zone. It's the surface of your bench. It would be your kitchen sink in the kitchen, and it only got things that are currently being used. And by that I mean right now. I've always put flowers in my zone 1 because they remind us that this zone is a sacred place, shrine of beauty and love, and they act as guard flowers to remind us not to clutter the space with bottles of different kinds of conditioner that you don't really want to use. So zone 1 is a place that's likely to be empty until you're in action, when you fill it up with what you're using and then put it back to empty again. And here's a good time to mention the Japanese 5 elements, which are different to the Chinese 5 elements. And my permaculture is very Japanese influenced. I go there every year for the last 28 years. The Japanese 5 elements are earth, air, fire, water, and creative void, ku. It's an emptiness that's something, and it's the most powerful and valuable of the 5 elements. Without creative void, the other elements wouldn't combine into anything. And without creative emptiness, it's really hard to cook a meal or make things happen, including make relaxation happen in your bathroom, which is a creative act. Relaxation doesn't automatically happen in this wild and woolly world. We've got to set ourselves up. So keeping your zone 1 empty and protected is like holding open a vacuum. And people used to say, we got room, push it in. And after my workshops, they realize this is full of creative void and I'm protecting it and it's valuable. Just as humans once said, wow, a forest, it's there to exploit. And now we know it's got creatures who've got their own homes and their own life. Let's do what we can to have a life where we don't need to exploit that. Zone 2 is where things are when you go. When you open a cupboard, open a fridge, there's what you need. It's there when you want and it's not when you don't. Close the door. This was my zone 2 from my old bathroom 15 years ago, 10 years ago. That's in that mirror, and things really changed. These days, I don't have 2 kinds of deodorant. I don't use perfume, soap, actual soap. Nope. I've really got more and more refined in the possessions I own, which is so few and so perfect. Zone 3 could be high up in your zone 2 cupboard or low down. It's a little bit further than your zone 2. I bought a whole lot of these boxes for my housemates who shared one big cupboard with me, so the blokes could put their razors with cords and things in it. Don't have a photo of those, but this is the same box but with pegs. I didn't want to open my cupboard that I'm sharing with them. They have one side, I have the other, and see a tangle of cords. So into a zone 3 it went. Zone 4 is where I delegated things that I didn't want to happen in the bathroom. So because it was shared with many people and I didn't want people spending all day doing their hair, including me, I bought a mirror for everybody's bedroom and made sure that they could do things that didn't require plumbing, etc., in their own rooms. So that's delegating bathroom activities to other areas. And zone 5 is nature pure, because we are not spoiling it. We're not buying and throwing away lots of cheap bargain cosmetic products that we find we don't want. We found a product we love and we're sticking to it. We found a family of products made by a company we love, and we're maybe buying stocks in them and supporting them, or calling them up and letting them know when they've messed up and supporting them and getting a better culture happening. So that's zones. And this, respecting the different zones, it does make the bathroom so much more shareable. And over a lifetime, it's great to be able to have the ability to share a bathroom with other people, even if we choose to have a lone life. At the moment, it means if you want to go wolf traveling, you can make the bathroom shareable with other people. And later on, I'm going to show you what I do when I house sit. And I'm allowed to rearrange people's bathrooms because they're not there, with tips for things you might declutter. So now I'm going to show you my last bathroom when I lived in Sydney, in a house that I rented, and it was an unrenovated bathroom with many flaws. It didn't have a fan. It had a toilet in the bathroom, something the Japanese are quite, how do you do that? And it wasn't renovated. But still, we found ways to make it feel 5-star and feel honoured when we were there. So as you can see with the zones, there actually, I had the toilet paper and some flowers, the guard flowers and the shower cap on one side. The other side was officially empty. Our towels hung on the back of the door. I put 4 different towel racks, staggered, and with our names on it, so we knew whose was whose and we didn't have to decide. Look, the poor old mirror, a bit rusty down the bottom, but the shower curtain, I bought a few so I could wash them in the washing machine every few weeks, so they never got any mildew. And the windows, when we moved in, there was a blind for privacy when you're taking a shower, because you could be spied from the outside, and it was full of mold, a wind-up blind, and mold will make you sick. Australian houses we are now realizing are causing the asthma epidemic in Australian children. The building code is wrong. It lets too much moisture in and people are suffering. So ventilation is so important. So this window became permanently open. And I put lace curtains on little stretchy things in each window so that people couldn't see in. And I ended up putting one of these pot plants in the window above the toilet so no one could see who was there. And you did have privacy, but it felt like you were connected to the garden outside. So the pot plant design, the lace curtains on racks, they perform multiple functions. They got the air fresh. They had us feeling we live a 5-star life. And they protected our health in this non-lovely bathroom. And it was kind of set up like a bathroom scape, which is something the Japanese do. When you go to a Japanese tea ceremony and they pass sweets around on a tray, you subtract the sweets so the pattern remaining of the remaining sweets is lovely in balance. And the next person considers, where will I take my sweet from? And they subtract so the pattern remaining is nice. And I realized that in cultured Japan, so this is the Japanese who do tea ceremony or Aikido or Toyota Way, they make toilet paper scapes and cup scapes and luggage scapes and the humble things of everyday life. They arrange in a way that's visually pleasing. So the thing itself becomes your art. So I learned from the Japanese to make toilet paper scapes. When I come home, I'd open the package and I'd get it started so that the roll is ready to go. And when someone needs a new roll, they're not fighting, the fur's flying, ripping open a packet. So the Japanese do this thing where they do a little triangle and tuck it in the top. I might do a demonstration at my next webinar if I get good at this. Oh, I'll do a blog post on it. And some people think, I wouldn't waste time doing that, but actually it's one of those micro meditations where you say, I am allowed to take 2 minutes to roll up nicely all my toilet paper. And you lay them all out, roll it up, take a breath, and your body goes from adrenalized to calm. This is something people don't know about why the Japanese are so tidy. They're not always doing it because the boss says or they should, but because there's inherent delight in taking the time to straighten things up and do as they do. When I realized this, everything changed. I learned that as a Westerner and as me, I have an inner hurry monster. And I think I'm always behind time. I never have margin. I've got to do everything as quickly as possible. Rip open the toilet paper pack. No, says traditional Japanese culture. You do have time. Let's lay things out properly, take a breath and proceed. And seeing the toilet paper stacked up like this or the shoes get together in front of the toilet in a little pair lets people outside know, inside is someone who is calm, who's got time, who isn't in a frenzy. I'm happy to be associating with them. And if you see that things are all in disarray, they need extra help today. So it communicates your state of mind. Do you have margin or not? You can see in this picture, I've got my up wiping cloth in the bathroom, and in the kitchen there's always an up cloth for shelves, and it's the pretty one, and there's a down cloth for the floor, and it's always there. It's usually at a right angle to show that it's been put there carefully, consciously. And The up cloths are never used on the floor, and the down cloths are never used on the bench. Japanese have a culture of separating the clean and the unclean, or the rough and the private and the refined and public, and it makes things better. So do that to stuff, not to people. People are all to be included. And the card was just there because it was a birthday card, and it's saying, here's a whole lot of things when I came back from a 2-month holiday, and some young housemates had come and gone and left all these, and I wasn't tempted to keep them. I've got my products that I love. So I said to my housemates, do you want any of these? Keep them in your room. There was some nice cream, so I put it in a lovely little crystal dispenser and put that there for us to use, because the package wasn't lovely. So making families of packaging where they all match is a way to make the bathroom feel harmonious, and it actually makes the products kind of invisible. They look like part of the bathroom decor rather than consumer items that are crowding in. In this bathroom, everyone's encouraged to put their shampoo and conditioner in the cupboard. We've all got our own little spot, and we've only got what we use that week. If it's something you want to use once a month, it stays in your bedroom because there's not enough room in the cupboard, because the bathroom is the high real estate value place in the house. And it can also be a playful place. One of the engineers did this toilet paper scape when I asked him to unstack the toilet paper. So having a bathroom where unneeded items are subtracted from your zone 1 and to your zone 2 or zone 3 or zone 4 brings a sense of calm. You don't have packages vying for your attention. 50% off, buy me now. Your mind doesn't have to navigate all the things in the bathroom. And what happens if you have a lot of consumer items that you don't really want to see in the bathroom and that aren't yours is you turn down your vision. So you don't see other people's bottles or bottles you don't want to use. But then you don't see the lovely things. You don't see the splashes you made. You don't see something starting to go moldy, and the downward spiral starts. So keeping only things that are delightful to look at is a way of protecting your bathroom. Beauty is actually a protective mechanism, which is why even animals want to keep their nests lovely. It helps the upward spiral stay. And having less clutter in your important zones, or clutter is actually something in the wrong place, helps you to reduce decisions you made and your cognitive load. So I learned early on in my share house days, this is a photo from 12 years ago, minimum viable towel. I trained my housemates in the Japanese method of drying off. The Japanese do not have great big huge bath sheets. They have quite small hand towels, and after a shower they flick the water off, and they actually use a wet towel, and they wipe themselves, their hot little bodies, out of the hot baths that they have with a towel, wring it out, and then put it up to dry. Because Japan is a humid country. A lot of the year, a great big towel is not going to dry, and you don't want mustiness. So tiny little towel hung in the sun. So that's what I got my housemates doing. They realised, yeah, this is a Western delusion to sell towels. Small towels are fine, which meant we could have more people sharing a towel rack. And I got a little creative hobby, which was when I got a new housemate, I'd think about her character, and I'd do drawings that matched her dream in life. So often the illustration that went with the housemate's name could be something that reminded us all how wonderful they were. For example, Aya her dream was to bring cheerleading to Australia, so I drew a little possum cheerleading. And Keith came to Australia to learn natural building, so I drew a little natural building. And it was great to relate to housemates as their dream. You appreciate them more and you forgive all the tiny annoyances. And that reminded us, my little picture reminded us to do that. Tess, by the way, is me. It's the name my brothers and sisters call me. And people who hang out with my brothers and sisters start calling me that. Now I'm going to just see if you have any questions so far about using zones in your bathroom and taking things out of zone 1 to zone 2. And I just have to go to the buttons. So I'd love to hear what's appealed to you so far, been seems like a useful thing to do. Any questions you have?
It's when it's live.
All right. So now,
So she can't hear.
I can hear. So Hillary, I can hear you now. Rosemary, I'm going to be able to hear you. Have you got any questions for me? Yay, I can see. Okay, so Deborah's asked for zone 3 again. So I'm going to turn you on, Deborah. Maybe you are. Oh. Last month I mentioned cloths from Bunnings, said somebody. Which ones were they? This is a question about my favourite cloths for the bathroom. I found them. They're a small cloth, which are actually good for the top of a bathroom sink because they're pretty. I bought like 40 pink ones. Oh, I've got one. Hold on. So think of specific questions you have while I'm answering Rowena's question. I'll be right back with my cloth. Ta-da! So this one is about 7 years old. It's so old. It's microfiber on the outside and a small sponge on the inside, and you can wash them every day, and they're just so wonderful. They're so old, and still looks good. I recommend pink or earth colors because you should never dirty blue. Not blue, because blue is the color of Our Lady. I'm from a Catholic background. Blue is the color of the sky and the sea, and it's not for sullying. And pink is more earthy and more like flesh which heals itself, and it's forgiving. So that's a color I love. So, any other questions? Sarah, Deborah loves the scapes. So you can write me a question. I think there's a way you can put your hand up. Right, any other comments or questions before I continue? So there's a little button called questions, and if you press the triangle, I think you can type in. How do you dispose of excess stuff in a good way? This is a controversial answer. Culture is important, and creating a culture of less stuff, more connection is really important. I believe that 99.9% of manufactured items should never have been made. You can donate stuff to the op shop, then you're making it someone else's problem. Most things shouldn't exist. For example, this monstrosity. You put liquid in here, blue and orange. Oh, it's like sports gym thing, and it's huge. It's got all these multiple functions. There's nowhere to store it. You don't want to be looking at it. It shouldn't exist. If I give it to the op shop, then it's ruining someone else's life. This is not my house, by the way. I recommend a tiny little white plastic one, tiny little squeegee that sits invisibly on your bath because your bath is white or whatever colour your bath is. You don't need this, you just spray with your spray. So a culture where these things do not exist is the goal. Putting it in the bin would be painful, but using that pain to say, I will never let badly designed things in my life again, is, I think, a big leap forward. It's really painful, especially if you care about the earth, to put perfectly good things in the bin. If there's a creative use of it, I would love to hear. I give it to the op shop because that's easy, but it's passing on problems. Right, any other questions about? Deborah, can I hear you? Let's see. No, but I'm going to turn your microphone on. But it doesn't go on. Zone 3. So zone 3 for you, Deborah, is like zone 2, but it's a little bit higher in the cupboard or at the back of the cupboard or maybe in a box in the cupboard. It's just a little bit more distant in reachability or visibility or distance to get there. And zone 4 is further again. So zone 4 would be not even in the bathroom, could be delegated to a bedroom, or not even in your house. So instead of having a backup shampoo for when you run out, your zone 4 is the supermarket. Just wait till you run out, miss the shampoo, try something else in your hair if you really, really need it, go without and see what happens. Maybe your hair will be great. So a lot of people, not a lot, but I have often done declutters in houses where people have a backup of everything. They'll buy something before they run out because they hate to run out. And I guess it's an ancient ancestral thing because, you know, starvation was on just across the over the hill for all of us, for our ancestors. It was a scarcity world. We're not in a scarcity world now. We don't need to keep backups of everything. So owning one of everything is a great leap forward. My makeup bag is so tiny. I have one lipstick, one mascara, just one of everything, because I know now what's perfect. When you're a teenager, you're trying all new things. Let's get that stage over with and just have one of things. All right, any more questions before I move on? I'm going to try and come back to these questions. I'm going to keep the questions open so I can see if any pop up. Write in any questions. Let's continue. So here's a declutter I did about 4 days ago while I was up in Byron Bay, decluttering my friend's house. And I'd love your comments on before and after. What's changed here? What can you see changed with ideas of zones, void? I've got a principle for all my permaculture design. 2/3 full is full. Every cupboard needs space. You need aisles into which to grab things in your fridge, lines of jars, aisles to grab your cosmetics even, and even your towels. I showed my friend how to fold using the hotel method so that you fold long ways first in thirds, and the little loose edge is slightly in, and then you fold in thirds or in half this way so that it's long. The wa is on the outside. Wa is the Japanese word for that. We don't even have a word in English for the folded edge. And you always grab from the folded edge, and the folded edge is always what is honorably visible to you. You do not have all those ends facing you, because that's rude. Rude. That's just not nice. So would you like to have a towel cupboard folded with a feeling of leisure, with a feeling of, I have 5 minutes to do this. This is meditation. Has to be done on the bed. You can't really do it standing up. You can't just do it like this. And it's like a bath before you take a bath. It's a moment of slowing down, of attending to the corners coming exactly together, of judging, where's a third? And it fills up the space long ways, so you don't have hidden towels behind towels, and you can see everything you own. Any comments on the way these towels are arranged? You can put in questions. Now, I've unmuted Rosemary, if you have any comments.
Can I ask you?
Yes, I hear a little voice.
Yes.
Is that Rosemary?
Yes,
yes,
it is. Can I ask you, what products have you learnt? Like you said, you don't use perfume, but you don't use soap. So what do you use in like shampoo that you've learnt?
Right now I only use Aveda products. They're pretty expensive though, but I buy so little in my life. I'm allowed to, and they smell so beautiful. I don't need perfume. And you know, I wear the same clothes all the time, so at least if my hair looks nice, that's okay. And instead of perfume, they have what the creator calls pure fume, and it's made from botanicals. I actually don't use bars of soap. I use pump soap because all the housemates can use it, and you don't have to wipe it off all the time. Like that, it makes the bath dirty with the soap, and it can be difficult. Now, I just realized time went a lot quicker than I thought. Here's what I did with the toilet paper. Unpack, you never need things in containers. Increase useful diversity and decrease useless diversity instead of lots of different containers. You can do fun things like draw on the walls with your markers and it comes off in the shower. So we had mobile art. And I got this pump from Japan. Every Japanese, not every, but it's common to pump your dirty bath water into your washing machine. Dirty, of course, means no soap because the Japanese wash their body before getting in the bath. They sit at a little stool, splash the bath water from a tub, little tub container, soap up, and then jump in. So I bought one of these to put my bath water onto the garden. It just gets a siphon started. So that's a fun thing that my clear bathroom can do. On this edge of the bath, bottles used to accumulate of shampoo and things from the housemates. So I got rid of the space by filling it with plants. And these are in magazine boxes from Muji that I adapted, and I'm going to be doing a blog post on that. And I bought a whole lot of seeds, planted them, and got these amazing flowers. That's the kind of diversity I want in my bathroom. The seeds cost $2.50 a packet, and you get these things that make you marvel. So here is this is a house I stayed in Japan. I had a week, and the first thing I did.
Excuse me, Celia.
Yes.
I can't see the photos. We've lost
Oh,
the
no.
photos.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thanks for piping up. Now, is that you, Rosemary?
Yes, I can see them now.
Photos?
I can see them now. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know what I've done, but that's marvelous. So this is before and that's after. And actually, all these things were in her bathroom. All these things around the bath, on the shelves, and I just got them and I hid them for a week. These are things you do not need in your bathroom. This is what I did live with and what I chose to remain. This is a family of things. I'd call it the glass with precious things inside it family. I didn't mind them being there because families are beautiful. These things look like they had no choice in being together, no rhyme or reason. They're impulse purchases and it wasn't designed. So these are things I recommend you do not have in your bathroom. Used candles, dead things that include shells and dried flowers. Even though they're beautiful, you might have them for 1 week in your bathroom scape and enjoy them for 1 week and then retire them. The Japanese only have in their houses a nook for their artwork. They have a hanging scroll, only one, and some flowers that relate to the hanging scroll, and they change it as the season changes. Might be in 2 months or when the weather changes, so that what's on the art reflects the reality. So no dead things. Containers. You don't need, can you see my scroller? You don't need a soap dish. Just put the soap on the bench. The soap dish gets dirty, the bench gets dirty, same thing. You could put soap on a sponge, which some people do. I bought a soap holder, which is artificial grass. It looks really cute. I don't mind using that for rooms where people want soap. Very rarely do you need a container. See the toothbrushes? Don't put them in there. It's full of mold in the bottom, I know, and slime. Just put your toothbrush, lay it on the bench. The bench is cleaned every day. It's beautiful. Most of the clutter is containers for other clutter. Get rid of the containers and other things disappear by themselves. Bargains and emotional purchases. From now on, you can promise yourself you get to buy the nicer Veda stuff if you resist bargains. Bargains will make you poor and ruin your life. Decorations. You get one decoration. And it's great if the decoration's the practical thing, like lining up your beautiful colored toothbrushes. And so these are things I recommend you do not have. I'd love any comments. All right, Wendy can't see things. Wendy, what have I done? Is there anything I've done to Wendy that I haven't done to others? Oh dear. And here are things that I might recommend you add. Guard flowers, soap dispenser. So I use a plastic dispenser, a Perspex dispenser for my soap. So I decant. You can go to the shop and buy bulk organic soap and put it in your own container so you're not throwing away a container every time. Beautiful cloths for the bench, up cloths, and I tear up towels from the op shop for the floor. I get tan colors and it works well. So here are things you're probably doing. You're subtracting to standard. Here's a share house I went to. That's how many people were there. And that's what was in the bathroom. And there was 10 people living there. Totally clear except for a bouquet of toothbrushes in bright colors, which are joyful. Make seeable. So now you can see the sheets and towels you own. Shine. When you clean it every time you use it with that cloth that's just sitting there that's pretty, you feel honored. The Japanese word for bath is actually the honorable bath. They put the word o or furo. And I was thinking, why do they have o for bath, honorable bath? There's a few words that have honorable. Okasan, honorable mother. Osaifu, honorable wallet. Osara, an honorable plate. I don't know why bathroom is honorable, but it is. Separate, the Japanese way. This is my friend's toilet is behind here. Beautiful Giselle, amazing designer. She's so talented at making families, making harmonies that now I'm hoping she'll be going out there and doing my declutter jobs for me that I can't do because I'm not around. So it's time to finish up. My vision is that you take your before and after pictures, use some of these principles, and get going on creating your own shrine of beauty and love. Here's the bathroom that we started with, and here's what happened to the rest of the house. So I came along and explained all my permaculture resets. Our beautiful Del Dint, here she is, was very brave in learning to let go of things. There was the big catastrophe hump where she was huddled and feeling cold and yes, I'll throw it out. And then it just got so easy for her. Here's where the rabbits used to live, right near the kitchen. Not nice for the housemates. Now they're in the bathroom. The place is free to be evolving to whatever it wants to be. Here's bunnies and before and after. So now the space is for people to sit and knit and look at the garden and read the books. It's not a place for things in cabinets, things on walls we've failed to look at anymore because we've just got so used to them. And this is my wish for you. And also it means her quality of her housemates skyrocketed. Guy was a visitor, a boyfriend of one of the housemates, and he was so good at decluttering that he now does work for me. And he moved in, and so did all these other people as the house got clearer and clearer. So Del's life is limitless. So it's my wish that you guys become my designers. You get really good at this. You practice for free on your friends. You start asking people for money. I'll be doing more and more webinars every 2 weeks, so keep on registering. The topic I want to go deep into for the next few webinars is healthy bathroom. So what do we do about chlorine in the water? that we're breathing in the shower? What do we do about mold? What do we do about calmness? So to go deeper into that, so many. So keep on subscribing and feel free to call me. I would love to get any before and after photos with permission to use or without, and just to look at and see what you've done. We'll be sending our follow-up to hear what the highlights of this event were for you, and hopefully I'll be getting a coach to help me with listening. I might be using Zoom next time because GoToWebinars, it's got its troubles. We're evolving. I can do things I couldn't do 2 weeks ago, and hopefully you can too. So feel free to send a message. Thank you for joining, and hopefully see you in a couple of weeks for the next one. So bye-bye, Hilary. You're unmuted.
Cecilia, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Rosemary.
Bye, Celia.
Hi, Rosemary.
Can I ring you and talk to you about the email and text message I sent you, please?
You can. I've got a dinner party happening right now, so I won't be answering anything now because I'll be making the trifle, but tomorrow definitely.
Okay, enjoy your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Rowena. Good to
Thank
have
you,
you.
Cecilia.
You're welcome. And it's undone. And see you next